I am JD Salbego, founder CEO of Legion Ventures, specializing in digital and growth strategy as well as financial strategy within technology. And then also I am co-director of Google Startup Grind in Hollywood, where we produce monthly events, digital innovation, thought leadership, and all over blockchain and startup culture.
JD, I'd like to ask you about, we are in a decentralized economy. And if you could speak a little bit about decentralized economy and what are the benefits of living in a decentralized economy as opposed to a centralized economy that we are all used to.
Well, I like to say that blockchain and digital ledgers and digital payments is not obviously when or if it's going to happen. It's when. It's a must. The entire world is going to be built on a network, decentralized through what he just said with all those 16 elements of that. But the entire economy with each nation and the global economy will eventually be set up on a network, digital ledgers, all those transactions. We've seen over the years the benefits of it. And I would like you just for 1 second to kind of think of, you guys in Japan here had a crash, right? Not too long ago? Where I'm from, Los Angeles, 2008, we had a huge financial crash, borderline depression. Now, that was all from small and independent banks, independent private mortgage companies giving out really bad loans. Then Wall Street got involved and started trading mortgage-backed securities, as well as a bunch of other funds based on really bad loans. Now, what happened was, no one caught it until right at the end, and there's a big movie that was about that with Christian Bale. What happened in our country went into complete destruction. Now, what happened because of that, all these private banks, institutions, as well as Wall Street, no one really knew what was going on. All these banks within the U.S. were over-leveraged, and no one could see it happening. We have companies that are, do their IPO, they're public. Us as investors, if we invest in Coca-Cola, right, or Snapchat, we have access, we can see what their revenue is like and things like that. Banks don't do it like that, which in essence is kind of unfair because they're making money off of our money, right? We put our money in their bank, and then they go out and make a bunch of money and put it back into the market. So right now, there's a paradigm, there's a framework for private banks specifically that is an old paradigm. They're still treating them as intermediaries, basically just transferring money back and forth. But because it's 2018 and the 2000s, these private banks as a whole create almost their own little macro economies. And they're still basing them off of that, and they're not kind of analyzing them correctly. So with a decentralized system, everything will be transparent. With digital ledgers, and then applying technology like machine learning, AI, deep learning, we can set up algorithms, actionable insights where we can start mitigating risk. We can receive notifications on this national network within the U.S. and globally when there's issues arising and certain banks are over leveraged. When we see interest rates going up and this and that. I mean, right now the economy in the U.S. is still being kind of determined and predicted certain things on the past. I mean, let's think of it right now. Every new startup, right, in the world, almost every tech platform out there, Amazon, Netflix, everything right now is on demand. Everything is real time, right? Macro moments, Google developed that term for marketing. How do brands and advertisers take advantage of macro moments? Because everything is so real time. So what makes transactions in our financial economy not real time? There's trillions of transactions going on every day, and there's no way to track it. And because of that, we have prices. And for me, that's kind of, I think, I'm passionate about that more so. I have a media background, so I can definitely sit up here and talk about digital rights all day and how YouTube is screwing over those content creators and people are ripping, and we're going to throw it on the blockchain and it's going to solve those problems. But to me, that is very impactful. To me, when people in your community can't pay their bills, they can't buy diapers for their food, they're homeless because a lot concentrated power and wealth of Wall Street and the economy screwed up. But when that happens, to me, that's one of the most impactful use cases and utility of blockchain and digital ledgers. So, about a year and a half ago, tried to actually start doing some deals and paying them all with digital. Okay, all digital currency. And I have to say, did I like it? A little bit. Did I not like some parts of it? Yes. And I think there's two core issues with technology. And for people out there who might have startups here who are working on technology, I think there's two main points that are holding back mass adoption. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other ones, whatever, but two main points I think are the mining aspect, because it's so based on energy consumption, and each territory around the world has a different valuation and cost for energy. So there's no standardization, or at least minuscule fluctuation in price to actually process these transactions. When through a bank, it's standardized. And the only thing you have to worry about, which actually never affects us, is like the yen or the dollar. And then the other thing is our digital IDs, that we know if we screw up one word or one letter, that money is gone forever. So I don't think the Federal Reserve, right, or Bank of America is going to transfer $500 billion, right, into like Morgan Stanley, and obviously that would probably be automated, but still, right, with that kind of risk there, that $500 billion could be gone, just like that. Let alone with the data mining, and let's just see how much that would cost, right? The fluctuation of people mining it in the Philippines versus mining it in New York City, which is probably like 5 times the cost of energy. We can't, banks, financial institutions, and the governments can't, deal with that kind of fluctuation and uncertainty in price. So I think until those, those technology, those points are nailed down, mass adoption will be slowly climbing.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you all for